Step into a true crime story from 18th-century science, where personal ambition turned family against family. This presentation explores the bitter father-son rivalry that nearly erased the foundations of flight physics. Centered around groundbreaking historical texts on hydrodynamics, we uncover how deep-seated jealousy and intellectual theft almost silenced one of aviation's most important scientific discoveries before the world ever saw it fly. Here lies the blueprint for modern flight. At its core is a simple physical truth: as a moving fluid speeds up, its pressure drops. Applied to aviation, this fundamental rule, the Bernoulli effect, creates the pressure differential across an airfoil that enables modern flight. Yet despite transforming our world, this monumental scientific discovery was nearly erased from history by none other than the inventor's own father. Meet the Bernoulli dynasty, a family that dominated European mathematics, only to be consumed by a curse of genius. At the center sits Johann, a brilliant yet pathologically competitive patriarch. First driven by jealousy toward his elder brother Jacob, a master of calculus, Johann later turned that same toxic rivalry against his own son, Daniel, the prodigy who founded fluid dynamics. Together, they conquered modern science, but their ruthless pursuit of glory destroyed the bonds between them. Driven by a demand for total supremacy, Johann Bernoulli sought to eliminate his own son as a mathematical rival, pushing Daniel toward business and grudgingly permitting only medical studies. But Daniel's pursuit was pure discovery. In secret defiance, he mastered calculus alongside his 1721 medical doctorate. By merging his knowledge of blood flow with physics, Daniel turned his father's scheme to sideline him into his true destiny, pioneering the fundamental study of fluid dynamics. Escaping his father's suffocating shadow, Daniel Bernoulli fled Basel for St. Petersburg, entering his most creative period at the Imperial Academy of Sciences between 1725 and 1733. There, he forged a monumental partnership with Leonhard Euler. Blending Daniel's keen physical intuition and medical insight with Euler's rigorous analytical calculus, the duo unlocked the mechanics of flexible bodies and vibrating systems. Together, they applied fundamental laws of physics to the movement of water and blood, sparking the very genesis of modern fluid dynamics. In 1733, Daniel Bernoulli achieved his central breakthrough, completing the draft of his masterpiece, Hydrodynamica. By applying Christian Huygens' principles of energy conservation to moving fluids, Daniel unveiled a revolutionary truth: as a fluid accelerates, it converts its potential energy, or vis viva, into kinetic energy. As velocity increases, lateral pressure drops. This fundamental trade-off between pressure and speed unlocked the true physics of fluid motion, cementing a law that would redefine modern science. Paris, 1734. The ultimate breaking point arrives when both Daniel and Johann enter the prestigious Paris Academy Grand Prize contest with their work on planetary orbits. The Academy declares father and son joint winners, awarding them equal honor. But for Johann, whose ego demanded absolute dominance, sharing top honors with his child is an intolerable humiliation. Outraged that a jury judged Daniel as his equal, Johann snaps, permanently banishing his son from the family home and shattering their bond forever. In 1738, Daniel Bernoulli formally published Hydrodynamica in Strasbourg, laying the foundation for modern fluid mechanics and the kinetic theory of gases. Yet behind this monumental scientific triumph lay a tragic personal plea. On the title page, Daniel humbly added Joe. Phil, publicly identifying himself as the son of Johann. It was a desperate, final olive branch extended across the divide, honoring his father in a poignant effort to heal their bitter feud. This was the ultimate betrayal, a calculated fraud driven by jealousy. After Daniel drafted Hydrodynamica in 1733 and published it in 1738, Johann retaliated with outright forgery. Printing his competing work, Hydraulica, between 1739 and 1743, Johann fraudulently backdated its publication to 1732. By falsely claiming priority over the discovery, Johann attempted to steal credit for the foundations of fluid dynamics and frame his own son as a plagiarist. Here is the anatomy of an intellectual theft. In 1733, Daniel Bernoulli drafted Hydrodynamica, applying energy conservation to fluids before publishing in 1738. Desperate to eclipse his son, Johann penned Hydrolica years later, around 1738 to 1739. To seize priority, Johann falsely backdated his work to 1732, restructuring Daniel's identical physics to cover his tracks. Yet Johann's deception could not withstand historical scrutiny. Ultimately, scholars exposed the chronological impossibility of his text, uncovering the forgery and restoring Daniel's rightful place in science. The ultimate fallout of this betrayal was heartbreaking. Daniel Bernoulli lamented that he had been robbed of his masterpiece, Hydrodynamica, and deprived of a decade of painstaking work by his own father. Crushed by Johann's ruthless deceit, Daniel lost his passion for pure mathematical research, abandoning physics to retreat into physiology and medicine. Their bond was permanently severed, leaving behind a broken legacy destroyed by envy. In the end, history delivered ultimate vindication. Historians easily exposed Johann's petty date forgery, setting the record straight. In 1752, Daniel's close friend Leonhard Euler formally derived the fluid dynamics equation into its modern state, unifying pressure, kinetic energy, and potential energy. Ultimately, true immortality belonged to Daniel. The scientific community permanently named this foundational law Bernoulli's principle, forever cementing Daniel's legacy in science. Not his father's. Johann Bernoulli tried to bury his son's genius to protect his own ego, but history had the final say. Today, Daniel's work powers the modern world. Every time an airplane generates lift, a carburetor mixes fuel, or a doctor measures cardiovascular flow, his breakthrough lives on. Johann fought to claim the glory, but in every corner of fluid physics, Daniel Bernoulli wins.